world, and say why music. Hello world, and say why music, and you can roll with it or refuse it. I say hey, way to the world, this is my day. Something like BK having my way. This is my time, I'ma shine so much.
He is clearly AY Young.
And he be the one them call Timo Peach.
And this is, what is it?
The Global Goals Roadshow. Hit them notes.
It is show 41, man. Here we are.
Show 41, guys. This is the one and only show designed to empower you, to help change the world with us, to shape a healthier future, right, Timo, for the planet. Overall, guys, so happy to be here. Our mission is to turn the world, of people, humans, right? I call them outlets, and bring them, into this battery to power change using the universal language of music.
No, I thought you were going to say the universal power of mind. My mistake. Yes, he is in the US. I am in the UK, and we're both change makers and music artists, passionate about encouraging the new songs and stories of us, helping people plug in their passion for change. We found our passion and our confidence through mucking about with art and music. And this is some of his music.
You can have it any way you like. Then would you pick me or find another man to keep you warm? I can keep you warm. Let me keep you warm. Whoa.
Can't walk away. Here's some of his music.
That was lovely. Let's wreck the beautiful atmosphere.
How big do you want to be? How big do you want to be? How big do you want to be? Tell me how big. How big do you want to be? How big do you want to be? How big do you want to be?
We'll rule the galaxy.
And rule the galaxy.
Is that relevant much right now on the world stage? You decide. Now, we want to encourage you to find your passion, your voice, your confidence, and feel part of writing, singing, and living the new stories of us. Because passion is where change starts. And that's why we're asking, what's your passion?
What's in your passion?
Pretty slick.
Yeah, that was good. Phil's doing good today. We believe, I believe, right, this entire mission that we've crafted is this thought that everyone in the world, every facet of humanity is an outlet for change. You, me, the big corporations, the nonprofits, right? And it doesn't matter how big or small we are, and we're on this mission, of course, like I say, to get the world plugged in. So the Battery Tour is an outlet for you to plug in and connect to your passion, no matter who you are. And we hope to inspire you, everyone, right, to do two things: to be an outlet for change, to one, power the tour, right, power this change, and then do one thing.
Do one thing. Plugging your passion in right where you are, because there's nowhere else you can live your life, no matter what's going on in the world, than right where you find yourself. Plant those seeds. So my colleague here is young leader to the United Nations, and I'm essentially his Alfred. I'm here to keep his fluids topped up, and so I have a brew for you today, sir, if you'd like. Are you still using the same water bottle as the last couple of weeks?
I have to go to my car and get my real things, but I'll just keep doing this because, it's all about taking a step and improving, from something like this to something. Okay, go ahead, fill me up.
Here we go. There we are. Yes, that's. Oh, yes. That's a good. There we are. And let's see what is. Oh, I think you're going to like that one. That's a good one. That's very good, and just the kind of pick me up we need. Oh, but it's not agreeing with you by the looks of things.
No, it's not. Dude, who's on this show? What the heck? This is the people's show for changing the world. Where are the people?
That's exactly what it is. Do you think it's time that we asked a question? Is it time we asked this question?
No!
Global goals guess from the east to the west. I said, can you guess where the global goals guests are from this week?
Because they could be basically from anywhere.
I mean, yeah, dude, like pretty much anywhere.
Alrighty. Don't mind if I do. Okay, guys, I'm so excited. This person is amazing, a world changer. I'll tell you a quick story. There was a day when I saw her speaking at this thing. I don't know what it was, at something called SAP. And I was like, dang, I want to change the world with that woman. And here she is. Oh my gosh, the world changer, Anne Rosenberg.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure.
Now, we always ask our guests, where in the world are you?
So I am in LA, in Hollywood, West Hollywood, but I am Danish. And it's funny when AY, because I was standing in Glasgow at COP26, and AY walked in, and I was totally unprepared. And he was right. Like, hi, and I was like, what? And then I suddenly realized, to your point, AY, that you and I met a couple of years before at SAP, the big innovation space at Hudson Yard. Yeah. So really, really interesting. Yeah. No, so I'm Danish, but live in the United States and live in LA now. Yeah.
Yes. And you're right. There is no really being prepared for the first time you meet AY. It's true. we did do a cheeky video, didn't we? When we met in the real world after having done 35 shows, was it, man? And then there was a cheeky video of the first time that we met in the real world, and that too was quite an experience.
Yeah, man. But you know, it's crazy because like Anne, like when I first met you all those years ago, I was just like, yes, this is the woman I need, like plugged in, you know, like working with me to like bring this change to the world. And I think it's a testament of like this whole idea that I have and that we have, Timo, about taking a step every day, you know, toward your dreams and goals, toward this big goal that we have of sustainability. And like, why don't you want to tell the, you know, viewers, people, more about what you do in general. You know what I'm saying? You've been doing this a while. You've been taking some steps.
So I think, Timo, you said it really nicely in the beginning. It's about a passion, and it actually becomes some kind of like call. And when I was living in Silicon Valley, I had this whole thing about being passion driven, and then you have like your gifts in your backpack. So you, Timo, and AY, you were all about the music and using the music to be a platform to communicate about the global goals. My backpack is full of knowledge around technology. And so I'm all about closing the technology gap between, so if you want to reach the 17 global goals, how in the world are we going to do that? Because there is a big technology gap in front of us right now. So I'm on a mission to close that gap. So when you ask me, AY, when I started, because I was living in Silicon Valley at the time where the experiential technology became a big thing, it was around 8 years ago. And I was asked to go to New York by the CEO at that time at SAP, Bill McDermott, and build up a big innovation space. And I was like, New York, Silicon Valley, what is the soul of New York? The soul of New York is not just innovation, it's innovation with purpose, because you have you in there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I write a lot of books. So when I was in Silicon Valley, I kind of saw that innovation, what I call innovation 1.0, is what you have in Silicon Valley. Innovation 2.0 is that you have innovation everywhere in the world. But then you ask yourself when you come to New York and you realize that you have the 17 global goals, and that innovation on its own is not enough, because why do you do innovation? You do it for a purpose. And the purpose is, of course, to really build solutions to close the gap we have to the 17 global goals. And then I kind of thought I found the Holy Grail, and I was building this big innovation hub for UN as like an outpost for UN. And then I realized this was not enough, because you need an imagination. And that's one of the reasons why I live in LA today. So I'm a science fiction writer. So Innovation 4.0 is really where you combine the experiential technologies with that you do it for good, right? You innovate for good with listening to the 17 global goals, but you do need a sci-fi mindset.
I'm so excited you said that. I did not know. I did not know.
So I came out with a book for 2 years ago, and I just did a podcast on it that is coming out next month around using science fiction mindsets and scenario planning to help to close the gap to reach the 17 global goals. And in that book, it became a history book, because if you go back in time, 100 years back in time, there are too many horses in the beginning of the 1900s in New York City, the same thing in London.
Yes.
What did you do? The car came around, right? So you have all this moment in time where sci-fi is helping you to predict the future. So I always knew that one day I will end in LA, because LA is the La La Land. LA is the place for the shakers and for the people with a crazy mindset, which is so okay, because you need that in the film industry. So my mission is to bring the sci-fi mindset with the mindset of exponential technologies, and make sure we can build solutions that close to 17 global goals. I cannot sing, I can maybe dance, I cannot act, but my magic in my backpack, just like your magic in your backpack is music, is really to go out with that mindset together with technology and close the gap.
Now, you have, just reading a list, if nobody met you, you have a very impressive list of things that you've done, roles that you officially hold. You're Senior VP of Sustainability at Wood. You are a sustainability expert in lots of ways. As you say, tech for good kind of advocate. You work for the World Economic Forum. You've got so many titles. And in all that, I did not know that you were also a science fiction author. You are a person after my own heart. This is design fiction, isn't it? It's how we narrative the world that we really want.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, and Timo, like I have a thought too, and with what you're saying, I'm gonna basically lay it out the best way I can. Wait, hold on, what the heck am I getting?
Is that my agent calling?
Oh, okay. Oh shoot, we got a call in real quick. Hold on, Miss Ann. This is something special, Timo. You want to intro? You want to?
I don't know who's just called in, I'm afraid. So
Of
course it is. Hello, how are you?
Hello. How are you all?
Thank you for
so
joining
good.
us.
Whoever's watching, if you're watching, Miss Ann, by the way, Mimi, these are two strong women, by the way, in my life. I'm so happy to have both of you. Mimi Nicole is a singer, an artist. She's incredible. And we actually just released one of our songs that's going to hit Netflix. So it's good to see you, girl. What's up?
Hey, I'm actually on a break from working with a group of lovely 2-year-olds. So you caught me at a really, really great time. super excited about the project. The song dropping. My kids have listened to it, and we have danced and we sang. So yes, super excited. I appreciate being a part of it. And you caught me getting my 20 minutes of cardio in.
Good, getting the steps in. That's good.
Yes.
Well, working with 2-year-olds must mean that you need to keep your cardio exercise up and your mind clear. That sounds tiring.
Yes, exactly. And I work with them from 7:30 in the morning till 4:30. So, the parents' work day. But as long as I get at least 5, 6, 7 hours of sleep at night, they always give me a run for my money, but I can handle it.
And Mimi, where in the world are you?
I am in Kansas City.
Yeah. I hear it's a great place.
It is. It's a really lovely, except for the weather does exactly what it wants to when it feels like it. So yesterday it was 80. And today, it's still a really nice day outside, but now I have to have a jacket. Sometimes it'll just start snowing out of nowhere. So it's a great place just a mind of its own when it comes to the weather.
Well, now Anne and I are European, so when you say 80 degrees to us, that's almost the temperature of boiling point. But we realise that you mean, because that really would be quite rough, and climate change is even worse than the IPC have tragically said this week it is. So, but thankfully, not quite. You mean Fahrenheit. I'm glad you're having a lovely day.
Yeah, and Mimi, I know you got a role and you're with the kids, and this is beautiful. And I think it's so interesting because you're talking about technology and closing that gap, and obviously we're so driven using music as a vehicle. And I think it's so funny because it's kind of like we have music here. Mimi is literally with the younger generation. I'm thinking about closing that technology gap, and I think this just little circle that we have right here, Timo, really the different connecting points, the different kind of facets that need to come together to bring this real change. Let's roll that song that she's on, man. Let's get you out of here, girl. We get back to Ann. What's up? Are you ready? You want to introduce this to the world? What's up, girl? Huh?
Maybe introduce it.
This is This is AY featuring the one and only Mimi Nicole.
Love it when I push your buttons, baby, and you know it. There's something magic about your touch. Ayo, ayo. Ayo, 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 ayo. Let's just take our time, yeah. Ayo, 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 ayo. Global goals guests from the east to the west. So can you guess where the global goals guests are from this week?
Because they could be basically from anywhere.
I mean, yeah, dude, like pretty much anywhere.
We rolled the jingle twice, and we rolled it for. Welcome to the. Lovely to meet you, man. Welcome to the GG show. Where in the world are you?
Thank you. Nice. I'm in Kansas City, downtown KC. Yes, sir.
Are you all just in different? Are you just next door to AY? You're all just in the garden or something? This is slightly cheating. AY is the man. You know what I mean? That's the heart of KC right there. So you know what I mean? It's just bringing the world together, and then also like exposing the talent and the creativity in Kansas City. So that's why he's the man.
Brother, what's up, man? I mean, anyone listening, please leave a comment. This is the Global Goals Music Roadshow. We're great to have Earth X as a partner, and I'm so happy to be here with you. We've been talking about closing the technology gap. We've been talking about a little bit about the global goals, which you may or may not know too much about, brother. But real quick, tell us, bro, who you are, what you do, man. And I appreciate you, man. I'm so happy to have you on here.
Thanks for having me, man. My name is Adeola. I go by AD. A lot of people in Kansas City know me as AD. And over in Nigeria, basketball, everybody knows me as Pastor. So it's so crazy I have so many names. But I work down here with Cottage Living. I'm the lifestyle coordinator for One Light and Two Light downtown KC. And also one of my passions is, I paint. But mostly what brought me here is by my foundation. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria. And, 2009, came on a basketball scholarship. And a couple of weeks later, discovered that I have stress fracture. Before you know it, it was really bad, I struggled with it. And later when I got to college, that's when I took an x-ray. Then I found that both of my legs and the shins were split apart. And just looking back, I mean, how did that happen? Kid from Africa, grew up so poor, like I had nothing, Then I discovered that what actually happened was playing on a concrete floor without good basketball shoes. And
wow.
And so, the impact really damaged most of my bones. So just getting here, when I have the opportunity to be able to play a good game and make it to the next level, my body can't take it no more. And so just thinking about all those, and that's when I started my foundation, Adeola Ajayi Foundation. And so we organize a basketball camp once a year in April. travel back home to Songo or to Ogun State, where I started playing basketball, and just try to provide, gears for the kids that struggle just like I did. The kids that play basketball every day without no, good gears and all those things like that. I remember back then when I played, when I was playing growing up, my parent can afford to buy me a pair of shoes. So I have to just look for whatever I could find, because that's the only hope. That's the only thing that I have to get out of poverty. You know what I mean? Playing basketball. I remember back then we have to go to a cobbler, and what they would do is they would get a tire, like tire that's being rejected, like in the trash,
and fix the
cut
sneaker.
The sole.
Yeah,
you got it and fix the sneaker. So they cut the tire, and replace it with the sole, and you get back on the court, start playing, those things.
Wow.
And so all those things just kind of like affected my body so much that when I got here, I don't have anything. So long story short, last year we did our basketball camp, the second annual basketball camp. We're able to provide over 150 basketball shoes to the kids, and also give them jerseys, and then also fed them for 3 days.
Amazing. Mate, that's wonderful work. And it's interesting that you paint now as well, because you can keep doing that later in life. I've always thought as an artist, I haven't got the football accident, the scars, which I'm grateful for. But I always feel for sports people getting to that stage. Now, look, we're getting to another stage. AY, do you think it's time to ask a certain question of our guests?
Oh, shoot. Yeah, it's about that time.
What goal are you most plugged into? Seriously, we need to know what goal you like.
Seriously, bro, we need to know, and you first. I know this is really hard. We're talking about some crazy stuff. I'm just thinking about technology and poverty and how that can close the gap. So much to talk about. But Anne, really quick, what goal, or as of today, you most plugged into?
Today, I'm very much plugged into the correlation between goal gender equality and goal 7 and clean energy, because clean energy goal 7 is the one that's going to solve the big issues of the digitalization of the entire energy sector that everybody's speaking about. But we need to make sure that women are leading that conversation. And actually, AY, when you're coming over to South by Southwest next week, end of next week, and the following week, we'll be in the female quotient lounge, where we'll have you'll be playing, as we talked about. Yep. And then we have a hardcore conversation because the week before there's 0 week in Houston, where it's like the biggest event in the oil and gas sector, right? And then it's leading into Austin. And I want to really have a focus on how do we make sure that women are leading and a part of that conversation, because we're talking about the new energy resources for the future. So I think 7, but with a correlation to gender equality. And it's International Women's Day here on the 8th, right? So that's you ask me right now, but I care about all the goals. Goal number 17 for me is partnerships, everything. But if you ask me for a laser focus right now where I am, I think that's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
That's interesting. It's overcoming, to put it simply, it's overcoming the tech bro bias that's built the world. Yeah, I want to circle back to that. But AD, what goal are you most plugged into?
If you know the goals, brother. If you don't know the goals, we'll definitely explain them. A lot of people don't know them, so that's all part of this show.
It is.
You're talking about my passionate goal, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, sure. Timo, hook them up. Some people.
So we're called the Global Goals Music Roadshow because we loosely base it on. It's an initiative called the Global Goals, or the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. There they go. It's a UN initiative that was started just before the millennium and then updated, and it's a kind of to-do list for the world, breaking down challenges that we have. We use it as a bit of a cheat to help people plug in their own passions and understand how it relates to a more universal framework. There are 17 of them, different topics, and I'm just wondering where your passion might fit.
Mine is just ending poverty.
Well, that's easy.
That's just my passion right there.
You've gone straight for number one.
That's exactly what you got it right. That's exactly what that's how I grew up. Waking up in the morning and don't even know where breakfast is going to come from, not to talk about lunch. I don't know if I mentioned earlier, I grew up in one room with my mom and my 6 siblings, 8 of us in one room, 2 beds on both sides, right? All of us packed ourselves right in the middle. There's a story that was written about me by Vogue KC that, I explained further in there, like where like sometimes we have to sleep on the hallway and there's no electricity. We have to use lantern and stuff like that. So,
Right.
and for me, it's like the question is like, we kids, we don't beg to come to this world. How the heck are we? How can little kids like don't have food? Like I just don't understand that. So my goal is to be able to do it the best we can to eradicate that.
Now, there's an interesting bridge between you two in this sense that you've seen between you the extremes of the world, from the World Economic Forum, where the richest people make decisions and play and try to do some hard things as well, to growing up in one room and how to sport potentially get you out of poverty. But the link there is energy, and the potential for clean energy as a decentralized, much more mobile thing, doesn't have to be owned by big corporates. The way that energy can get rolled out into poorer areas and literally empower communities that aren't at the moment.
And bro, like the energy thing now, when you think about it, energy can help you with the education piece. We can help you even educate yourself to get out of poverty. I mean, this is a really interesting setup, AD, because your story, by the way, it's really touching me, and it's really amazing, bro, because you came from that, yet you work. First of all, you work so hard. A lot of people don't. You gotta realize this man works. To get what, but to come from that, to not forget where you came from. I wanted to end. It's interesting. Like, poverty is really interesting, and I wanted to know if you had any thoughts on like how you close the gap using technology. How does technology play a role in helping kind of fix some of the things that AD is talking about?
I think, and they spoke a lot about it at COP26, is that we are going to redesign the entire world right now, right? Because we need a whole digitalization of the entire energy sector. We are going through this with the whole COVID. I mean, it's becoming personal to everybody, right? The way we need to work and support each other. So I think we have an opportunity now to go in and build a new world. And I use 3 words for that. It needs to be scalable, accessible, and affordable. And I've even say make the ESG core design principles. But if you begin to design something that cannot scale, it doesn't work. If you begin to design something that is not affordable, available, it doesn't work. If you design something which is not, if it's not for everybody, it doesn't work. And that's the principles behind the new design of the world that we need to do. And if we begin to work with that, because that's going back to my whole thing about science fiction thinking and about using exponential technology to build a better world and technology for good. The whole idea is to build a better humanity. And we have all these tools and knowledge. So how do we do that in the best possible way? So for me, it's a mindset based on those principles. Wow. If we can do that, we can make it equal to all. But it's easy to say, I know it's difficult to do, but I do think that everybody have gone through COVID, have realized that we can't leave anybody out of this here, right? So that's some of the principles that I work with. Yeah.
Scalable, accessible, and affordable. That's interesting. You are sounding, and this is exciting to me, that somebody working at the highest levels of corporate political power, as you are, is sounding a lot like a solar punk. And this gladdens my heart enormously, because this is a kind of framework of thinking in art and practicality, an invitation to get involved and test things. That solar punk is the implication of some of the things you're saying there. Yes. Now I'm wondering whether we should talk about AY. Well, now you're probably going to think I'm implying something else there. There's a couple of bits of VT that I want to run. There's a look at the back of your story, but I'm wondering about talking to Anne about the Net Zero World Initiative.
Yeah, this new zero world. I mean, AD is interesting because like a lot of the stuff that you're saying would be a new world. And you used to, and I've seen it. I've been in Honduras. I've been in these places in Haiti. How sad is that you've got young youth that want to play sports, be an athlete, ill-equipped. How about the new world, being able to equip them with the necessary means to simply protect their body while they pursue their passion?
Yeah.
Man.
What would you like to
and
sorry, go on. Yeah, AD, go on.
Yeah, and what AY just said, it's one of the reasons why when I started the foundation, my focus is on the children. Because the thing is that we have so many organizations right now that focus on young adults. You know what I mean? They're like 16, 17 years old. But what about the little ones? What about the little ones that started when they were little?
Yeah.
Because what happened is when they kept playing when they were little, right? Their body structure is changing, So if they don't protect it when they were young, how do you want their body to be intact when they get to 16, 17? So for me, the focus is to protect those young ones while they're growing up. So when they get to that age, their body will still be intact.
How does that connect to some of the things you're doing? And how do you see sort of the youth connected to this? To Tech for Good?
Yeah, if I look at COP again, because for me, COP26 was like, it's more or less like a little bit like as a new beginning, like a reset. And it was interesting when we went to World Economic Forum, the virtual one that took place beginning of the year, that everybody was referring back to COP26 as really as a new beginning. And if you look at COP26, and this is what we are showing in the New Zero Worlds, is that first of all, we give an equal voice to everybody, right? So you have youth big time at COP, not just marching on the street, but they were also in the green zone. Like AY was in the green zone, many youth was in the green zone. They had equally the stage as anybody else, or world leaders on in the green zone. So it's really like that we let everybody contribute with ideations and on how we are building going forward. And then I also think what we're seeing, and AY is an example on this, is like we call it the New Zero Heroes, because we come from a past where, and I've seen that because I've been in the impact space for many years, that either impact was seen as something nice to do, but not the core of what you did. That is changing. You need to be the core. And we heard that confirmed in many conversations during the Virtual World Economic Forum. Secondly, we are seeing that it's not just about a conversation about we intend to do something really good. No, we are beginning to see that people are really driving a transformation, changing it. And one of the pieces of work I did just before I left SAP for 3 years, I created something called the SDG Ambition, with what I launched together with the Secretary General at World Economic Forum in 2020, January, just before COVID hit the world. And this is the most used transformation framework today for the private sector to become sustainable, right? And what happened is that you literally bring it into the core of how you create the business model, how you run all your business processes and technology solutions. So I think that we are going for, sorry to say like this, working with sustainability and impact as a nice to do to become the core of what we're doing. And then it's not just for selected group of people to have a voice around it and decision, but everybody's invited to the table to do it. And I think COP26 was a really good example. And I think one more COP thing that I've been working on for many years is that we all know the UN original was 4 countries, right? But UN today is equal for companies and the private sectors. And now for many years, there have been many NGOs around UN, but today it's really becoming the most impactful public-private partnership hub. It's very inclusive. And that is exactly what COP26 also shows. So I'm super optimistic, including one thing I want to say more. You're seeing that the family offices around the world, the whole investment side of it, is coming in collectively and are supporting also.
Is that happening? Are VCs and other people really getting behind this? Is it becoming, it is becoming much more of a KPI thing to keep
in that direction right now, because I got, that's a shoe. I hope that's happening.
Yeah, indeed.
Something that I mean, I was running a big innovation space for 2 weeks together with Wood at COP26, where AY also came in and was part of all of this. And if you look at the agenda at COP26, this was just so incredible. the first 2 days, for 2 weeks, right? The first 2 days you had the world leaders was there, right? And speaking about, how we need to, change the world. And the third day, historically, it was all about how to realign the money of the world to support that change we need to see. And then the fourth day, it was about what can we then do within the energy sector. And then it was a huge topic around resiliency. So I think, we can dream up all different great ideas, but if you don't have the right investments and the right funds, and I always say, follow the money, right? If the money, we need to make sure that the money follow the right impact we want to do, then you can make the change. And that was exactly what we saw at COP26.
Exactly. And that's this part of this new, AD, she's talking about COP and this like new zero world, Timo, let's get like a little look at that. I know that I'm part of this campaign now coming up, thanks to, and you and Natalia. Let's we'll get a little look at some of this stuff.
Pro não indígena, pode parecer loucura. Você falar que tem que ouvir o que a árvore está dizendo para você. A gente consegue ouvir o que a Mãe Terra está falando pra gente. E ela está falando que a gente não tem mais tempo. While you are closing your eyes, my friend was murdered for protecting the forest.
The last 50 years, we human beings have enjoyed amazing progress. But the price we have paid...
100 companies make up 71% of the global emissions.
...is much too high.
In the past year, we saw storms and floods that we never expected.
Several killed in a flooded subway
Category 4 hurricane slamming into New England every year now.
When you look at the challenge that we're faced with globally...
Just a couple of years ago, all of this was pristine Amazon rainforest.
It's enormous.
Global leaders will meet in Glasgow, Scotland for the crucial COP26 climate summit.
This is a make or break moment. We all know the damage that is happening to the planet. While we're focusing on planet, we also have to focus on people.
Within a circular economy, right from the beginning, you eliminate everything you don't need, you circulate what you do, everything biodegrades.
Incremental change will not get us there.
But there's a huge opportunity to get this right.
We have to disrupt things.
Well, I think that what's really interesting is people starting to talk about competing on the basis of being nature positive.
Sustainability is the transition. 25% of the abatement we need comes from how we make and use things.
I think the city that we all want to live in is like Wakanda.
Let's mass mobilize.
Music can make an impact with climate change. It can get people to come together.
It's not enough for big banks to commit trillions. The crisis of climate and the crisis of inequality are all interdependent.
Since 1978, when ExxonMobil came out with a scientific statement around what climate change is, companies have known, and politicians have known that climate change is an urgent threat.
Young people are rightly out on the street.
Where did this come from, or why are you doing what you're doing? Like, why are you trying to change the world or bring the world together? I watched my dad change the neighborhood block by block.
Police say a Kansas City couple has reshaped community policing. They have closed more than 700...
I came from a family of people that spent their life powering change.
Making a name for himself in the music industry and for his commitment to renewable energy.
His name is AY. He's one of 17 youth leaders chosen by United Nations.
AY Young will perform at an inauguration ball for Biden.
AY Young is a name you might want to remember because it's a name some of the biggest stars already know.
I really see my parents in what I'm doing.
Our world is challenged like never before.
All 193 United Nations member states affirm what are known as the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
I get a call from the United Nations. They're telling me about these 17 goals and how they're picking me to be the leader of the youth of America.
I'm here to listen. Don't ask me questions. Tell me what to do. Give me ideas.
My mission is to kind of break down these silos, these barriers, and build bridges to power collective action by bringing everyone together.
It's going to be incredible. My work plan's in 3 different phases. I'm going to make an album powered 100% by renewable energy.
Right now, AY Young is working on an album based on the 17 United Nations goals. Major stars like Tech9 will collaborate.
Nothing is special when you can come to my house and eat. Because we go way back.
When I was in Honduras, it's so crazy. I'm going from village to village, place to place to bring concerts, to bring people renewable energy.
Yo, I'm AY with the battery tour. We're here in Honduras. It's beautiful.
The people are so genuine. They're so friendly. But it's also a place where, like, you could be killed in a second.
It's become known as the murder capital of the world.
There are 700 million people that are still living in poverty.
The whole premise of your music is about collaboration 100%. And about getting excited. It's about going across the finish line.
I don't think anyone can disagree that everyone needs to have access to energy, water, food. My belief is that everyone in the world, we're all these outlets for change.
The Global Girls Music Roadshow International News Bulletin, brought to you by top correspondent Timo Peach.
Hello, yes, this is the Global Goals Music Roadshow International News Bulletin with me, indeed, Timo Peach. And with some 1 in 5 women surveyed in tech contemplating leaving their positions within that industry still as recently as the end of last year. Does the inequality in the tech sector still between the genders give us a headache in the way that we plan and design the future? Women in tech, women in the future, equality and gender. Why is it still such a deal for us today? To talk about this, I'm joined by our 2 guests today. First of all, by Anne and also by AD. Hello and welcome to the GG Music Roadshow International News Bulletin, both of you. AD, I'd like to come to you first and ask you about your experience of women in the sporting arena and how you support young women and girls in your foundation.
For us, like, we try to, have the space as equal playing field for women. Everybody is important, whether you female or male, whatever you are, everybody is important. So we, in our camp, my foundation is, consists of both gender, male and female. So we give the same opportunity that we have for the female. That's the same thing we have for the boys.
Indeed. And in some ways, sport does have some of the same challenges as women do with, for example, the female soccer team in the US actually winning a court injunction to be awarded back pay that they were missing. And I have to ask you, of course, as a woman in technology yourself, firstly, the very simple question of how you find speaking in that environment and how you get to encourage all the many women who do already work in tech.
Thank you so much, Timo. It's really interesting because now I work in tech and in the energy sector, being at Woods, and it's interesting to see that both the tech and the energy sector, you don't have that many women. And as you're preparing now for International Women's Day coming up here, the 8th, I was just looking at the numbers. And today in executive leadership positions within the energy sector, you have 19.1% of female leaders in the energy sector. If you look at women in executive position across all the industries and all sectors, it is around, I think it's around 20 plus percent. So you can say the energy sector is even lower, and I think the technology sector is a little bit higher than the energy sector. So and what make me sad about this whole thing is that, you know, I've been fighting this for many years, working with UN Women, working with female quotient. Share Style is the biggest private sector women movement. And we even though we are working on this, you know, in all different kind of ways, we do need to see working on the 17 global goals, working on solution for the 17 global goals, working on the big change that we need to see going forward, that we correlate the D&I. It's not just about women, but the whole spectrum around the D&I, that we improve that at the same time that we are building a better world to close the gap with the 17 global goals. It must happen this time. So,
and just to interrupt.
Is that my agent calling? Oh, is this on? Is this on? This dang technology, Zoom and all this other stuff. I'm sick of all this streaming. It's not even relevant. I'll tell you what's relevant. That's not even relevant.
I think we were interrupted there. I do apologize.
Hello?
Hello, yes, I believe that is the yes, is that the local decider?
Hello! How you doing?
You have hacked our call once again, and
I'm here. I got a few questions. I just want to start rolling them.
Thought you might.
You talk too much.
Okay. Well, if you must.
Yes. Can I ask my question? All right. This question's for the Anley. Here you go. Moseying about. I'm the local decider. In my city, I run my town. Women get my coffee. What's all this hoppycock about women this and women that? The old ways of things have always worked great. What makes you think you're special? Why do we have to have them in the room all the time? Women hear, women make decisions. Life was just fine last time I checked.
Well, it is quite a long-winded question, but it's one that many must ask you a lot.
I have to say, and you're special. You're a little bit above average. But why do we have to change things?
Anne, do you wish to reply?
Yeah, I think it's super simple. I mean, half of the world populations are women, and I think everybody needs to have an equal voice. So that's the reason why we need to make sure that women have a seat at the table, but not just women. I think the whole spectrum in the D&I need to have an equal voice. So it's as simple as that. And we today have a situation, if we go to different industries, that some industries are much more male dominated than others. And
yeah, it sure is. My buddies, we play golf every week.
Yeah, yes. And it's shown. I would ask as a last question on the news section though, and why do you think that switching up the gender balance will help the stories of the future in engineering, where energy is, and in tech in Silicon Valley? Why does getting a better balance in gender potentially make a difference for the future, do you think?
First of all, if you look at the technology evolution today, technology is embedded into everything we do, right? Across all industries. So if we only have males sitting and building those solutions, we are not meeting really the need of the people of the world.
Oh, this is poppycock. I've had it. Get me off this dang show.
I think we seem to have lost the line there with the local decider, which is probably good for all of us. And with that, I would hold that thought and return us to the main show. Anne Rosenberg and Adi, thank you both very much for joining us on the Global Girls Music Roadshow International News Bulletin.
The Global Girls Music Roadshow International News Bulletin. Brought to you by top correspondent Timo McNewsface.
Well, there we are. As ever, goodness knows how much heat or light is expended there, but we are getting to the end of our time together. Thank you both for the impromptu guest on the news program there. And I am, of course, extremely interested in the idea of stories here because my way into sustainability was through a science fiction project. And my single that's out at the moment, How Big, is taken from that very project. It is looking at the different themes of sci-fi and how they have been teaching us the future. How do you imagine, from your perspective, sci-fi would teach us the future?
I think, which is also the conclusion of the book. I actually have the book right here. This is the book here. I believe that science fiction, what the book conclude on is, yes, it's great for movies and so on, but it's actually designed for this moment we live in today, because we have no idea whatsoever. So when a CEO or a country commit to 1.5 science-based target in 2050, they don't know how to, I mean, nobody know how to get there, right? So you can say this is literally a science fiction moment we live in today, where we need this whole, I call it time traveling, where you go into the 2050 and you time travel back and say, what is it I need to do? And the only thinking that I know can put you into that situation is sci-fi. And it's also interesting, I got activated with sci-fi. I was at a panel at UN where Sophia the robot was sitting next to me. And the following, I went back to New York after that panel, and I was seeing Westworld, not the new Westworld, but the Westworld from 1972. And I was wondering, how did they know that in that, because she was created much, much later. And then I began to do a lot of, I saw, together with my team when I was at ACP, I saw a lot of science fiction movies over a certain amount of weeks. And we began to see a lot of parallels, what was going on. And that's where the research to the book started. And it really became a history book. And it actually concluded on that you can, if you go maybe 50 years back, maybe sci-fi was not as relevant because it helped you to imagine, but you couldn't do what you wanted to do because the technology was not there. But today we have technology that we don't even understand we even don't understand what we actually can do with it. And that's where the big ideas need to come forward. And the only way you can do that is the mindset. So
it's creating an experience, which is what art does. Now, I noticed, although I'd love to keep talking, that we have also been interrupted by the local rocker. Is that on? Except he's gone again, which is just as well. It is my contention to get it in before anything else comes back. And that when my project led me to look at the SDGs through science fiction, I wasn't expecting to. It made me ask, which future's the most likely?
Hello. I've been patiently waiting. I don't know why I'm ignored. I know the show.
Sorry, I'm getting carried away talking about sci-fi with Anne. That's why. Local rocker, what would you like to ask?
I am the local rocker. I am 45 with 4 kids and possibly one on the way. I have question for AD.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Local Rocker.
I am so in love with both of you. I'm such a fan of your local approach, AD. I must know what is it like to impact your local community? How can I get active in changing world like you, man?
You know, it is amazing. It's a great feeling just to see the excitement and the joy in those kids' face. You know, because I see myself through them. I know how it felt back then to be able to go to a basketball camp and don't have the proper gears. I know how it feels to go to a basketball camp and while other kids are eating food and there's no food for you, because that's exactly what I go through. So it just feels so great. And just to see that last year, I was so emotional just looking at the joy in their face. And for me, I feel like, I understand how so many, government people in Nigeria and other places are really corrupt, but we just have to put matter into our own hands and do our own part.
And there is the future. There is the future. The future is local.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll take my leave.
Thank you, local rocker. That's
thank you, Timo. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you, local rocker.
Anyway, you're back. I don't know where you've been. Have you been in the loo, mate? Is that where you've been?
Brother. Oh shoot! Yeah, we got it.
Live tech. If only we had some women in tech with us who could help you with that, mate.
No, I just got a lot going. We're still on the show.
We're still on the show. Yeah, it's been a long one tonight, but I thought maybe we could come back to you. Could sum up nicely, bringing together the themes of music, art, where local meets the future, children, future. There's lots of themes here you can tie up beautifully, man. Go for it.
Totally.
Oh,
and you're so. I'm so happy you're on. Hold on, AD. Like.
But I thought maybe you could just, if you could just pause the phone, then we could just bring it all together. It's been a cracking show tonight. Big themes. Yeah. If you want to get in and bring the big themes together, man.
No. Oh yeah. Timo. So here's the deal, bro. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. We're so close to the end.
Would you, yeah, I know. And you guys are you're so awesome, AD. First of all, shout out to you, homie. Like, normally we wrap the show and stuff, but I actually got to run right now. Timo, you can.
We just need a minute if you want to pull it together.
Yo, I know,
young leader.
I know. Like, you're gonna have to like power through for me. I'm guys. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go. I'm a really
Hey, well, that's exactly the AY that I know.
Yeah, that's exactly the AY that we all know, AD, indeed. Well, look, that is the life of a showbiz change maker. He moves fast. You two, I know, also have an awful lot to do. You're both very productive and busy. So thank you so much, both of you, for taking time out and joining us on the Global Girls Music Roadshow. AD, I want to ask you first, is there anything you'd like to leave us with, a site you'd like to point us at, or a last thought?
So in April 20th this year, actually, I'm going to be leaving the US. We're flying back to Nigeria in April.
Wow.
On the 16th for another camp. So this year, our plan is to do another camp from the 20th to 22nd. And our plan also is to provide 200 shoes to the kids. And also, I'm actually working with these with the team in Atlanta that provides shoes for us. They're called the New Beginning in Atlanta, Georgia. The New Beginning. So they're a great organization that helps like homeless and all this, great cause in Atlanta. So we'll be going together with them to provide this shit for the kids, provide meal and all that. And also we're working with the orphanage in Songot, Ogun State. The orphanage, most of the kids sleep on the floor. So we're trying to provide mattresses for them and also get them like food and all this great stuff like that. So we're super excited about it. We're still looking for, people that donate. If you want to donate, just
where's the website? Where's the website that people can go to?
Yeah, the website is adeolaajayifoundation.org. That's the website. Adeola Foundation.org. It's my name.
Yeah.
My first name and second name, and with foundation.org. So
we'll get it up in the bottom. Great, thanks.
Yeah, so you can go there to just help us out. So yes, sir. Thank you.
Great work, man. Great work. We'll get that up so we can spread that around to get more donations. And Godspeed on that trip. And Anne, is there a last thought you'd like to point us towards? A thought you've got?
I think what is so nicely what you're doing with the show here is that we all have, as I said beginning, we all have this backpack with either you're a musician or you're within sport or within tech that I'm in, but we all have like things we can do, and if we do that collectively and put our passion into it, we can move mountains, right? And I think we all have a responsibility and obligation for that. So, and this is what the New Zero World is about. And after this here today, we're right now ramping up to go to South by Southwest, where AY will also be joining. And we're doing a lot of filming this whole year, following, you can call it the New Zero. The thing about the new heroes, what AY is also an example on, is that it's people that, just like what you're doing, Timo, what you both are doing, is that it's not just a conversation, it's actually an execution. You are part of the change. So we both are driving the change. I think that we all can do that. We all have that in us. And I think we all are responsible, obligated to do it. So thank you so much. I think it's been so fun to be part of this.
Thank you.
Great.
You've brought a lot. We could talk for a very long time about a lot. If I could get to South by Southwest and sit in a corner with you and natter, we would. But thank you for taking the time out and joining us and sharing just a few things. And we'll put some of the links in the bottom. So both of you, AD and thank you both very much for joining us on the GG show.
And I'd like to say one thing.
Yes, yes.
Before we go, there's one thing I feel like the world should understand. When you sit back and be like, when you see things going wrong, like children, poverty, and all this crazy stuff going on, and you sit back and say, it's not my problem, nothing is going to change. I feel like it's high time for everybody, just forget about the government or whatever. Do your own part. Do your own part. Go out and make a change. If you and I can step out and do our own part, the world will be a better place.
Yes, I totally agree. Bless you for that, AD, mate. Thank you both indeed, and we'll chat to you again soon. Ciao for now, and Adiola. Thank you both very much. And that is our show. It's been a meaty one tonight, hasn't it? I'm going to play this. What have we learned tonight? Well, it's a little bit of Vangelis and Blade Runner. My point is that we think the future is inevitable. But it's not. We get to write the new songs and stories of us. And we need to overcome our collective failure of imagination and write the new songs and stories of us. That's why we're here every week. So as we go home and I just play us out, I think it's very interesting that we have people thinking much more like solar punks than cyberpunks. Because solar punk is an invitation to a local future, one that you plant and you start planting now. You have to start with the future you want and work back. And it is through science fiction, of course, my project, The Shape of Things to Hum, that I was even led to hear about the global goals and discover my own thesis that what the global goals are missing is one particular goal, and it's art. Because art is all about writing and singing the new songs and stories of us. It's creating new ways of seeing, and that is the thing we need to activate everything else. Preach over, really long show. I've been Timo Peach. He was AY Young. Join us at ayyoung.com and the usual channels and find the links below. Thanks for sticking with us tonight. How much is there to talk about? Anne Rosenberg's a sci-fi author. I had no idea. Ciao for now, and we'll speak really soon.